ranks were thin, and they just got thinner. Brendan Miller catching it from the Brewers dugout, and now he ejects Ricky Weeks. Ricky Weeks has seen enough.
Now this is all about the strike zone. We were talking about it most of the day. Very tight at times, liberal at other times, and Ricky's showing some of the frustration in that dugout.
Weeks ejected. Ricky Weeks, one of the fiercest competitors that's ever put on that uniform, but he rarely loses control. He rarely speaks out like that. So to hit that trigger, I think it was the way Miller snatched that mask off and was telling him to quiet down. That's all it took. And now Weeks ejected from this game.
Check it out. This is the pitch they're talking about. We've seen a lot of those today. Very close on a 2-strike pitch, and that's it. Umpire's always going to win.
Fly ball to center field, and Renfroe to Mitchell for the first out.
Seven pitch at bat to the former National League Rookie of the Year with Cincinnati back in 2021.
Need one fastball so far. It's a bat.
And now time as Wes Richardson was beginning his motion. And what do we have? A pitch time violation on Wes Richardson. That's going to be ball 4. And Rocco will leave the dugout. And Vasquez, he's in the face of Nick Lentz. Rocco's in there as well. And I don't think Rocco's going to be long for this game. But a pitch time violation called on Wes Richardson, and that leads to ball 4 and puts India on. Reading Rocco's lips there for a moment, he said he didn't do that. Now what Lentz said, and Rocco's been tossed. Yes, he did, is what Rocco was saying. Almost looked like Rocco said he called timeout.
I like how the second base umpire, Vic Carapazza, just starts to creep up.
He's the crew chief. Yeah, Carapazza, he's the crew chief. Well, Rocco's been ejected. And I'll say it again. You know, Vic Carapazza, he's the crew chief. He has a microphone. I get it that a pitch time violation was called. But what exactly did the umpires see? What's the harm in just saying, flipping on your microphone, we called a ball 4 pitch time violation because of what?
And he indicated to him that he couldn't hear. He pointed to his head, and he didn't step off.
So Rocco's been ejected here in the 6th inning. Bench coach Jace Tingler will take over. And that will do it for Wes Richardson as frustration mounting here. So Rocco pretty upset. And Tingler now chatting with Carapazza.
Why does he have to stop and talk to Carapazza? What is he talking to him about? He's going back out to take him out of the game.
Let's take a look here and try to piece this together best we can. You know, Christian Vasquez, see, he's got the PitchCom transmitter at his wrist, and was Richardson a nod? Clearly engaged with the batter, but clearly the timer ran down. And Lentz stop play. And now Rocco's been ejected. It was ball 4, and Scott Blewett is coming in. So the Royals with a 3-run lead, still batting here in the 6th.
And that's upstairs. Infield up. Meisner on deck. And now a strike. Take another look at that.
I think they're booing the sell job.
Yeah.
And that ball was almost in the middle of the plate.
Oh, and the strike called on the outside part of the plate. And Morel not happy.
I don't think Rob Drake is either.
Yep. See Morel. So it's a full count. And Morel is out on strikes, and he has been ejected from the game. Morel ejected after the strikeout.
So not a lot of hits, but the ones he had were often big ones. And he did not go.
Well, Moreno is upset, the catcher. Laz Diaz like, what? And this was super close here. Oh, yeah, I could see why Moreno's upset with that one. Torey Lovullo upset. But O'Neill gets another shot in a big moment. 3-2 count now.
And he walks. If they give you an inch, take a mile.
Uh-oh. They're still barking at Laz Diaz.
Laz is stepping in and barking at the Diamondback dugout right now, which we don't need to see. Laz looks like he's looking for a fight right now.
Yeah.
And Torey's going to come out just to make a bullpen change. A check swing that could have gone.
Yeah, Laz
The
will
other
just
way.
turn around and just walk down the right field line and stay away from it.
Merrill Kelly's barking at him now.
Oh, here we go.
Uh-oh, and I think Laz might be throwing him out. No, Laz is pointing to the dugout. Torey's coming out.
Oh, he's
And
going.
Laz is just picking a fight right now. Just let him be mad and walk away. And now Torey's going to get his money's worth.
Like I said 5 seconds ago, the best thing Diaz should have done was just turn and walk down the right field line and stay out of it. But he chose to engage, and this is what you get.
Well, we'll see if Torey Lovullo is still in the game on the other side of this break as we get a lesson in conflict moderation from Laz Diaz. I never saw him officially get thrown out, but
He threw them both out.
He did.
He threw the
That was
pitcher
it.
out,
That was the.
and then he threw out
I
Torey
thought he was
too.
just pointing, but I guess you're right. Good for Torey. That's a joke.
Oh my
That's
God.
a swing. I mean, we got to be honest about that.
If he would have hit it, it would have been a double.
Well said. So I didn't thought Laz was pointing at Merrill to get back to the dugout. He was actually ejecting he and Torey Lovullo.
On a ball in the dirt yesterday. Really good base running. Obviously, Ced is a terrific base runner, 30-plus stolen bases in multiple years. So I love that part of the game with this team.
Real second in the league in average sprint speed. And wow, that was called strike 3. O'Hearn will get a steal. Brandon Hines out. I am shocked at that one. That pitch looked like it was way below the zone, and John Bacon's telling Brandon Hyde, go back to your dugout.
Well, this is unfortunate because this is the second time today that Westy's gotten hosed. You see the play right here. Kirk makes a pretty good throw, and Jimenez picks it. And I don't know, Brandon Hyde might have gotten thrown out already, and I don't blame him for taking the heat for Westy because you can't let Westy get thrown out of the game. But as a manager, I love to see this. He is sticking up for his guys, and Westy got hosed twice.
Yeah, Brandon Hyde has been ejected by John Bacon, and he said to him, you missed 2. At least, frankly. So Brandon Hyde gets run for the first time this year, arguing about a very low strike 3 call on Jordan Westburg. Yeah, there were a couple of magic words in there.
I think he was asking how his kids were doing and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's kids opening day.
Yeah.
How's your family? So, Brandon Hyde has been ejected from this game, which means we're going to now see the Major League managerial debut of Robinson Chirinos.
I'll give Nasim 85 on that.
He got 86.
Ooh, okay. And Reynolds hit.
That sinker,
yeah,
started at him.
You know, and that's legit for the Pirate fans to boo. It was a fastball. They were booing off-speed pitches earlier that came close or hit Triolo way back in the 4th inning. So 2 on, 2 out. And really no history between Lopez and Reynolds. First time he's ever hit him. McCutchen 0 for 3. Oh my goodness, nobody anywhere near second base. Lopez turned around and threw it, and Luis Garcia kept it out of center field. I think K-Bear dropped the mitt there, Franny, from what I could see.
That is a misread by Luis Garcia Jr. Got to think that catcher's on point right there with the drop glove, but usually he has to go on when the second baseman makes the break. That's the only problem. Good pitch. So we're going to play this drop glove. You don't drop the glove until the second baseman goes. The second baseman is the one that initiates the whole play right there, not the catcher with the glove.
Oh my! Fastball to the backstop over the helmet of McCutchen. And he's obviously shaken up. Did that graze him at all on the way by?
Derek Shelton's a little upset. I mean, rightfully so from a manager when you get 2 that are...
Yeah. And of course, our guy got sent to the hospital last night. That was not intentional. We would never think that was.
Oh, there we go.
And Lopez having words with the Pirates. Dugout's empty. The bullpen's about to enter the fray. Red and blue coming in, and black and gold right next to him.
It's a good color mash right there at the middle. Bullpens filing off. They're in line too. No one crosses over onto the path. Still don't get it, Rob. Still don't get it.
Miguel Cairo very angry in there.
Tommy Pham's upset.
Nats bench coach having to be restrained. It's just been a weird inning. Reynolds hit. Another pitch up, and then that one right over the helmet of Andrew McCutchen. Angry crowd of 4,000 making lots of noise.
Well, there's a lot of chirping over here too going on. He's just trying to. What you trying to read his lips on? He's like, I wasn't doing. Come on, guys.
Gabert getting in between, but then somebody leading the charge out of that third base dugout. Umpires confer, and the bullpens are visiting with each other as they stroll across the outfield.
Now, see, this
Lopez, they're going to say intentional, so suddenly everybody becomes mind readers, and Jorge Lopez is thrown out of the game.
I agree with you, Jorge Lopez. That is awful. Have a feel for the game there, Ron Kolpa.
Yeah, Davey, he may be next.
Lopez coming back out of the dugout right now to say something too. It looks like right away it gets out of his hand. Look, I've been involved in a lot of these. I know when something's intentional. That one looks like it just gets under and takes off.
Not the greatest night for gripping a baseball to begin with.
For an umpire it is.
But you know, this is that whole intentional thing. All of a sudden umpires have to be mind readers. And it looks to me, Franny, like they were, at least they felt like they were pressured into having to make that decision.
The only thing I want to know is where's the warnings in general? Were there warnings given before the game?
And now Miguel Cairo coming out to keep.
After Brian Reynolds got hit, was there a warning issued?
Didn't see anything.
So then why is it automatic ejection right there? Just wondering.
Yeah. And if they were reading minds,
he didn't even hit.
It sure took long enough for them to figure it out.
He didn't even hit Andrew McCutchen. He just threw a nasty slider down and away that would have been 0-2 the pitch before that, and he lets this one go. Yeah, I get it. So Davey's gone too then, right?
On the whim of the moment, it seems, and Franny, it gets away.
Out of his hand, you could tell. It's not a pitch that he was trying to throw there. Out of his hand, you could tell it going up right away. Come on, guys. Like,
you know what? And if somebody doesn't come out of the Pirates dugout going after Lopez, he's probably still in this game. So McCutchen is in the batter's box. That's when they're going to throw Jorge out. He can't believe it. It'll be 2 balls and 1 strike, and Eduardo Salazar will be the new pitcher. Then he comes back out. Looking right at Ron Kolpa, the crew chief, who has the plate.
It's a bad call.
And I guess we should pray that this pitch isn't anywhere in off the plate, because who knows what might happen.
One and one. One and two. And I believe Alex Zumwalt was just thrown out of the game. It's not the only reason why the Royals have not had a good night on offense tonight, but
There have been some borderline calls that have gone the Tigers' way, especially with Bobby Witt Jr. at the plate. They've been pitching him away all night, and quite a few have been called by Paul Clemens that appear to be outside. Again, if we're going to pay attention to that white box. Now, this one was close. This was, if we were using the challenge system like they used in spring training, if the ball just makes contact with the edge of the strike zone, it would have been called a strike. But that's just frustration boiling over because of the missed calls earlier.
Yeah, it is.
Grounded to first, and the Tigers take game one, and the Royals drop to 1-6 on this trip.
And you're going to stay on that time, and then if you think it's a fastball, you're going to look silly.
And you got to look fastball. You can't.
Of course.
I mean, you look ridiculous if you look slider. He throws 102 past you.
Exactly. So now you're in the hole 1-2 on a 99-mile-an-hour fastball.
Well, Montgomery was a starter in the minors until the middle of last year, made it to the majors last September, and looked electric. Looks like he has found his niche. It's amazing if you look just the last decade or so, the Rays just keep pumping out hard-throwing relievers. They get hurt, and they find more. They get hurt, and they find more. A lot of Tommy John surgeries, but they keep finding guys with arms.
Yeah, and kudos to their department, man, for just bringing over a guy all of a sudden that nobody really wanted, or, you know, saying, hey, we got to revamp some things, and they come over here and they just go out and just pitch, and they pitch really, really well.
Two. Count 3-2.
Got away with that one there, Mike.
Sounded like a strike.
Yeah, I think that one. Ooh-wee.
Wow.
You'll take that if you're Jazz here.
Strike 3. That one looked outside. Maybe it's a makeup call, and Chisholm's down on strikes. Did you find that happens sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes. You can't make up for a call that you missed before. I mean, there's no such thing about that. You missed a call, you don't make up for it, and there he goes.
Well, you can't argue balls and strikes, and he was teetering on that edge, and Boone was trying to break it up, but Bacon had enough. Now, he might get fined, too, because he just tossed the helmet lightly, but he tossed the helmet toward home plate.
And that's the unfortunate part. You work your butt off to get the 3-2 count, and then you get a called strike 3 on that one, which was clearly low. As we're going to see in the replay here again. It's a fastball. Clearly down. At least the ball down. You know, guys throwing 99 to 100 miles an hour. And not his fault you missed a call before, you know? It's frustrating.
Well, Jazz was certainly chapped and wanted to be heard. Driven deep to left field. Fair ball, it's gone. It is a foul ball, just foul. A bullet down the line.
You talk about reaching out and touching someone right there. That was a swing, boy.
The call on the field is foul ball. This is a crew chief review.
Crew chief review. I hope they have an angle here to look. Tough to see from our angle. You know, you think about, well, as we watch this swing. Man, that ball was hit really far. And you think about it in a major league stadium. You know, the foul pole, let's see here. Oh, my.
Wow.
From that angle.
And in a major league ballpark, Todd, the foul pole is much higher.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to before I saw that. I mean, that angle there, it's not straight on. But to me, I mean, that could have just wrapped around. I know Judge doesn't like to stare at his home runs, but that's one right there. He could have just sat there and kind of looked for himself. Look at there.
See, from that angle, it looks fair, right? Into the trees.
Oh, my God. I mean, most of those trees are in fair territory, too.
I'm a big proponent. Top of the foul pole.
After review, call on the field stand. It's a foul ball.
They have it. Top of the foul pole, lasers.
Lasers, yeah, something.
So easy.
I mean, from that angle there, I'm not sure.
I just don't think they had a replay that was definitive enough for them to call it fair. I think if it was called fair off the bat, they wouldn't have something that could call it foul either.
Agreed. And I'm looking at Luis Rojas at third, too. He's not really complaining that much.
Strike three. So from what would have been a long home run, he strikes out looking, does not like that call, and he tells Adam Beck quickly out of the dugout, and Aaron Boone just got thrown out because he got out of the dugout in a hurry to protect Judge, and he's been complaining the entire game about Beck's strike zone.
Yeah, I think he's still mad about the home run call, too. That was foul.
Yeah, that's who he's going to argue with now, Scott Barry.
Yeah, there's been some calls, too, today that have been very suspect, too, on the strike zone. This is going to be a good one here.
So Aaron Boone gets tossed. Judge hardly ever talks to the home plate umpire. When he did, Boone got out of the dugout quickly because he didn't want Judge thrown out. Then he got thrown out instead.
Let's see where this pitch.
Right there.
Paint. I think it's more frustration knowing. I mean, look where this ball is. It's already past the foul pole. It lands foul. Oh, man. That's a missed call. Let's just be honest. Michael, that's a fair ball.
From that angle, it looks fair. But again, that's not right directly down the line, so.
Joe Romero is getting ready. Michael Harris, the second, a left-hand hitter, is next. And Albies takes 4 straight balls to load the bases. Holly just got thrown out of the game by Mark Carlson, arguing balls and strikes. You could read his lips. He thought ball 4 was strike 1. Maton departs, allowing the tying run. The bases remain loaded, and Oliver Marmol continues to chirp with Mark Carlson as Atlanta has him loaded with 1 out in a tie game in the bottom of the 8th inning at Truist Park.
Rough ride for left-handed hitters today against Lance Barrett's strike zone. James Wood got one called a strike. That was 2 baseballs below the bottom of the zone.
And for CJ, he's, already struck out twice. Okay, well, we can throw you out too.
Oh, there we go. Somebody just got run from the Nationals dugout. Looks like Chris Johnson. That was terrible. Is maybe a FCC safe version of what CJ just said.
Yeah, someone got defensive for being bad. It's okay, Lance. It's just, yeah, guys grinding away.
You know, that was a pretty efficient ejection there. Lance Barrett gave a warning. About a second and a half later, he threw CJ out of the game. CJ gave him one last little chirp, and then he was down the tunnel.
Bryce struck out on a high fastball his first time up, and everything in this at bat has been down.
A very short lead by Cabrera, not going. And that's ball 4. So back-to-back walks, bringing Judge to the plate. And Gausman just said that's a strike. He is unhappy with Chris Conroy, the home plate umpire.
Yeah, Conroy just lifted up his mask to say something back to Gausman. I mean, there was a pitch earlier in the at bat looked like a strike. And then that last one looked like it had plenty of the strike zone. But according to that, it was a ball. But Gausman's made some good pitches down in the zone, and he's got some pretty borderline calls in his favor early on. Top of the order.
Ball 4 to force in a run. Four walks in the inning, 2 runs in, 35 pitches thrown in the inning. And depending on how quickly Schultz can get ready, this might be last batter if he doesn't get Volpe. There obviously is some concern about how Gausman is doing and the pitch count here this inning.
Yeah, this is not a good inning. There's a little concern here.
To right center field, a long run for Springer, and he's not going to get there. It's off the wall on the fly, and 3 runs will score on the double. It is 6-1.
Austin Wells finally gets one that he can keep in fair territory. Hits it to the base of the wall in deep right center, and that's going to be the end of a very, very tough inning for Kevin Gausman.
Paxton Schultz on his way in from the bullpen. So an afternoon that started so well for Kevin Gausman ends much earlier than he would have liked, and as you can see, with a lot of frustration. He had some words for the home plate umpire, Chris Conroy, on his way down to the Blue Jays' third base dugout. The first 2 innings, he sailed through them, really. And then the third inning, his command was not as good, obviously, as it was in the first 2. And he took issue with a number of pitch calls. So Gausman is out after 2 2/3. And now Paxton Schultz is on the mound. But for some reason, Chris Conroy, the home plate umpire, I don't know if he asked John Schneider to come out, but they had a very quick conversation. Whatever it is seems to be okay. Here's 6-1 Yankees, top 5. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 0 for 2, leading it off against Max Fried. And that changeup paints the outside corner with the knees.
John Schneider just got thrown out of the ball game, and this has been going on for a few innings now. Kevin Gausman was thrown out as he was taken out of the game by Chris Conroy.
Yeah, you're right. Most of this has to do with Gausman.
Yeah. Frustrating day for Gausman and John Schneider. But after that ball was called on Vladdy, Schneider couldn't keep it inside anymore.
So John Schneider will take the rest of the first game off, but remember this is a doubleheader. DeMarlo Hale will, I presume it'll be DeMarlo Hale, will assume the managerial role for the rest of the game. Yeah, he's getting into the seat. And Vladdy's unhappy again. It's 1-2. Here's a look at what was happening. And yeah, Chris Conroy clearly had, even before that moment, had heard just about enough. And he had been hearing it for a while from Schneider. The Blue Jays as a group, mostly Gausman,
Schneider, Pete Walker unhappy with the strike zone. The hitters a little bit as well, but really most of this has to do with Gausman. Two and two on Guerrero. 6-1 Yankees top 5. And strike 3 called, and that was just an outstanding pitch. Vladdy might have had a beef earlier, and he's unhappy now. But that last pitch by Fried was something else. Little bit of frustration right now for the Blue Jays, to say the least. One more look. I mean, that's about as good a pitch as you can make. Now Kirk, a ground ball to second in his first at bat. And a fastball at the belt for a called strike. Oh, and 2.
That's a pitch that can give Alejandro trouble when he gets a little big with his move. You shorten the distance for that ball. It gets on you in a hurry on the inner half.
Change up right on the outside corner. Another strikeout for Giolito.
Absolutely painting the edges of the plate. This ball starts away too, so you can see how right-handed hitter Kirk gives up on that ball. It just comes back enough to catch the edge.
And now why is John Schneider out of the dugout?
Well, I'm sure there's been some chirping coming from that dugout. I wonder if Mr. Popkins has been shown the exit. He's walking down the dugout. Yeah,
I think you're right.
I think so too.
So the hitting coach getting ejected for not liking the strike zone that the Blue Jay batters are getting, and there it is as Derek Thomas throws David Popkins out of the game.
I wouldn't have had that on my dance card.
I wouldn't either.
And so with a young rotation, albeit a very good one for the Reds, a veteran like Barlow is a valuable commodity to have in your relief corps. He's fallen behind Mason Wynn, 3 balls and a strike. Cardinals didn't like that call. And somebody just got the heave-ho. It looks like Ollie.
Well, you can feel this one coming throughout the game, Chip. Bruce Dreckman, home plate umpire. There had been a couple of close calls that had not gone the Cardinals' way. There was some chirping, and it ended up being too much for Dreckman. That's going to be it for Ollie.
He's been hearing it for both sides today. So the Cardinals skipper is kicked out of the game. Mason Wynn, a 3-1 count. And ball 4. So the leadoff man is on, looking for some insurance. Wynn walks for the second time. That was a pretty athletic move from Ollie to do like the pommel horse move, to jump over the railing and get to the warning track and right out to Dreckman.
Yeah, definitely pounced.